Hello, hello. Hi, it's John Binnie, and I'm here to record a short podcast and answer your questions. I've had lots of questions recently, and I've been posting these on YouTube. Also, feel free to check them out here in the links in my bio. And so the first question that I'd like to address is, how do you reconnect and or deepen your connection with Source, with the source of love of this universe? And it's a hard question, and it is a question that likely has many, like, thousands or millions or billions of different answers. And I'm going to give my perspective and my personal experience, and you can decide whether it's useful or resonates with you. And for me, I know that Source is this energy, this collective consciousness of both high vibration, all the way from highest to low vibration energy of this universe. And it is a creative force. It is a force that exists within everything that is living, and everything is living. And within each of us have this divine spark at the center of our hearts. And this is where the source energy manifests into our physical being as our souls connecting into this human body. And that we're all unique expressions of source energy, of source love energy. And we are, in many ways, each of us, an individual experiment in the ability of Source to reflect itself back to itself, for love to reflect itself back to love in infinitely unique ways, to continue to grow both individually, as a soul, as a human, and as a collective. And specifically about deepening your connection with Source, for me, in my experience, I really had little knowledge or belief or knowing about my opinions about, like, love or God or Source until my last big awakening in 2017, when I did a meditation session and I saw, like, the creation of the stars and the planets, and it got me into, like, it triggered this hunger in me to start meditating each day. And it was those meditations each day that really helped me connect with source energy. And it started for me very locally. So I would sit in my little music studio back in November 2017, and I would, each morning before recording a song, I would just take time to meditate for about 5 to 10 minutes. And there's lots of stuff out there that you can read, right? You can watch videos, you can listen to the opinions of others. And for me, my journey was most powerful when it was experienced and developed by myself. And so one very tangible experience that I had was, within 2 weeks of meditating each day, I'd heard of spirit guides, and I thought, well, I want to find out what are they, and do we all have them, and perhaps I could talk to my spirit guides. And so I started asking every day for the first couple of weeks when I was meditating, could I connect, could I see, could I experience my spirit guides? And this led me on a path to then also want to connect into Source. And I heard people talking about Source, and it intrigued me because I was very used to the concept of God, and religions talking about God and their different gods, so different varieties. And what I really struggled with is I didn't really resonate with an experience of any kind of higher force or deity where I was giving away my power, where somehow it was more powerful than me, and that it was separate from me. And of course, that's not true. It's not true for all religions and all belief systems. But for me, what I really was seeking was a unity, like an expression of unity that you could like choose to opt into or not. And so, yeah, after this journey, through this journey of meditation, now I remember this very vividly. So this number is absolutely true. After 900 days, so every day I would meditate. I'd ask my spirit guides, my higher self, and the source of this universe, the source of love of this universe, for song lyrics, and then I'd write a song. And so 900 days later, 900 songs later, I had this kind of milestone, this epiphany in my mind, that I realized that I'd been connecting with my guides and with Source now for 900 times. And it made me realize that prior to that journey would have felt like it was impossible. Like, how could it be possible that I could create 900 songs? Let alone the 2,300 something songs that I've written as of now. But back then, at the first 900, it felt like that was a moment where I realized that I had deepened my connection sufficiently with my guides, my higher self, and with the source of this universe to achieve something that I felt prior to that was impossible. And that for me, it was like this evidence, this confirmation that the journey, that quite lonely journey, that it was a way of me reflecting back to myself that having created all of this, that it had definitely included divine influence and inspiration. And I'm connecting to something higher than just higher aspects of John, myself. And that I'm bringing them into this physical reality, and that it's like there's this co-creative aspect. John is a human. It's funny speaking about yourself in the third person. John is a human, and these higher dimensions and source of love of this universe, like, are all somehow blended in some way, and especially in this kind of co-creative collaboration, creating these words, these lyrics, these songs, this music. And I also realized that it's infinite, like that I'd developed the ability to channel from my guides and other beings, and that I'd also learned how to create like in a sustainable way. And this was all whilst working full time at about somewhere between 50 and 70 hours a week in my corporate job, and having a family of a wife and 2 kids and a dog and hobbies and all these things at the same time, like that somehow this magic was happening. And that was a real epiphany to me. Not just all the incredible experiences I was having on the way, and even in those first 900 days, there was just incredible experiences, and in the songs as well, and such depth and such beauty. So that journey, continued and continues, and that practice, now we're at, I don't know how many days it is since November 2017, but meditating almost every day, like, I must meditate. I must only take a few days off in a year. And so you can do the maths, right? But all the way through that journey, for me, it's like a continued deepening and connection. And if I just show you for a moment how I connect in with Source, I think, and if I just explain a bit out loud about the detail of the experience that I have, then perhaps it will also just help you reflect a little bit more beyond just my words, and help with some of those feelings as well. So if you'd like to join me just now, just take a deep breath in through the nose, nice and deep. And release what no longer serves your highest good. Breathe in through the nose, nice and deep. And release any stress, fear, anxiety, or low vibration emotions. Breathe in through the nose, nice and deep. And release any stress, anxiety, or shame. And continue to breathe deeply and calmly. And now from the divine spark in the center of our hearts, we extend a light cord up through the top of our heads, up through the sky and to the stars, going higher and higher through the dimensions of this universe, until we reach the highest frequency, the highest dimension of the source of love of this universe. And there, connecting our light cords into the source of love. Remain connected into source and expand out our light like a spider's web, extending out across space and time, feeling into that love, that unity, that feeling of home, and really enjoy how that energy fills your body and fills you at this time. Remain connected into source and extend your light cord down to the stars and to the sky, back down to the top of your head and into your heart once more. And now, from the center of your heart, extend your light cord down through the root of your spine, all the way down through the layers of the planet, going deeper and deeper until you reach the very core of Mother Earth, and there connecting your light cord into the core of Mother Earth. Remain connected into Gaia's heart, and extend your light cord all the way up through the layers of the planet, through the root of your spine and into your heart once more. And just allow that source energy to fill your whole body with that unconditional love, healing, clearing, activating every cell, every atom, every dimension of you for as long as you choose to accept this love. And we just had an interruption in my meditation from my son, who's just walked back in for a second time. Yes, how can I help you? I'm live on Instagram just now. Thank you so much. So, yeah, that's my practice that I work through to really allow me to connect into source. And what's really beautiful about that is that it's just a practice to continue to repeat each day. And it's something that you, by doing so each day, just like when, someone that wants to be a bodybuilder, they want to build themselves up and get those gains in the gym, that as they go about their daily practice, they might not notice, day to day, the comparison of those gains, and in our case, the deepening of your connection. But at the same time, that over time, like it took me 900 times to really acknowledge, that suddenly you realize when you look back how that connection has continued to deepen and connect. And then I'd also like to really hold space for those, those people and those times in our lives, and I've experienced it in mine to an extent also, is when you feel like disconnected, or when you feel like you're orphaned from source energy. And perhaps one personal experience I had was last summer. Like I felt quite lost. I felt like I didn't really know where this work was going, where my spiritual mentoring work was going. I didn't really know where my corporate job was going. And I felt like the practice that I was really developing each day was very difficult for me to kind of add it all up together and say, like, this is the vision that I want to achieve. And it led me to just kind of go into kind of overdrive. Like I ended up in this kind of dark place where I was just creating lots of content and feeling quite lost. I was creating training courses and kind of working myself really hard, but not really sure where I was going or for what purpose. And it did like result towards the end of last summer in this time where I just said, you know what, like before I like burn out, I'm going to like stop. I'm going to stop what I'm doing. And I went into very deep reflection, and that process allowed me, like I wrote a song about the experience as well called Lost Ship. That whole experience helped me realize that I was kind of drifting away from the very thing that I was that that I was focusing on, my mission to help others in this planet at this time, to help, people on their awakening paths, to help balance this darkness and light, to really help everyone who wishes to help save this planet at this time. And so that was really powerful for me because it helped me reconnect. And I remember talking in my meditation to Source, and I was thinking, where am I going wrong? Like, what am I doing wrong? And I was just being told, like, it's time to, shed those feelings of lack, to let go of that darkness. Goodbye. To let go of everything that didn't serve my highest good, and go for like a deep inner reflection, and allow myself to really deepen my practice. And so that's what I did. And if anything, I had faith that I had done this before, right? Like in those first 900 days of meditation for me, I was able to really deepen, where I was going, what I was doing. I was able to deepen that practice. So I thought, well, I had, hope and belief and faith that I could do that again, no matter how lost I got. And so that's what I did. Like, I really started rebuilding myself. And if you search for John Binnie Lost Ship, the song, that's the quickest way of finding out more about that experience in its entirety. You can also search for my deepest, darkest shadow work, and you'll find out all about the deep, gnarly details of those experiences that I had. I've also had a lot of experiences with my work for clients where they either directly or like past life versions of them or fragmented parts of their soul exist in like lower realms, like in the underworld, in hell, or in there's also this space I've been to a few times called like the infinite void, which is exactly what it sounds like. It's like a huge empty space, and where these are places that we meet beings that are disconnected or hiding their light and hiding themselves from source energy, and they are orphans in that respect. Like it's like they've decided to no longer want to be connected to their kind of parenting love of a divine masculine and feminine combined in source. And so that's a really tough journey, and it's a really hard experience for any soul to go through. And, sometimes it's a result of karma. Sometimes it's a result of beings just really wanting to do that. Like they self ostracize, I guess. Like they kind of kick themselves out of their own belief system, and they say, I'm not worthy of that, and it's very like a shameful feeling, like our lowest vibration emotion, very isolating, and just really, really dark. And it's like, it feels like one of the hardest places to be when you separate yourself from love, like, and you don't believe that you're worthy of love. And so really holding space, like if you're watching now and you feel in any way like that, or you've had experiences like that in the past, just holding space for you and encouraging you to share that experience with someone, to share that beautiful experience is so hard, and there's so much that you need help with. And if I can help you, or if someone else can help you, please do reach out, but don't be a stranger and don't suffer in silence. And I feel that everyone has the opportunity, every being, no matter where they are in the frequency ladder, has the, from the lowest, vibrational kind of evil, if you like, being, all the way up to the highest beings in this universe. Across that whole spectrum, we all have the opportunity, if we choose to, like reconnect with love, reconnect with this love in our hearts and with the source of love, this universe. And in addition to the meditation that I took you through, and forgive me, I was a little bit distracted as my son came in with my dog halfway through, but it's like, keep going, keep going. It's the real world, right? It's also really helpful to like connect in with that love in your heart. If you can find your self-love, if you can find that spark in your heart, and you can practice that through your self-care, show yourself you love yourself a little bit more every day. Like, what could you do today to love yourself a little bit more? I could love myself a little bit more by doing no more work for the rest of the day. Like, it's coming up for the start of the day here in Scotland, and just do nothing else. My body needs the rest and I need the mental break. So that's my personal example. But like, what could you do today to show yourself that you love yourself, and do that as a doing word through that self-care? This really helps you with your feeling in your heart, and helps you like see that in your heart you are connected into this divine unity of this whole universe. And if you choose to connect with that through your practices, through your gratitude, through the love that you have, and love for yourself and love for others, this is a great way of being able to really deepen your connection. And then, yeah, for those of us that have experienced, trauma where we've been almost purposely, you could argue purposely disconnected from source, and that orphaning process, really creates this horrible isolation. I'd encourage you to like really, explore some of these practices I've just described, and really holding space for you. Like, it's a really tough journey, and it's a lot of hard work. It's not a kind of glamorous marketing product for me to try and sell you, like, hey, you should join my 900-day program to like reconnect with source. Like, it might not be 900 days for you. And I guess in hindsight, for me, it probably was about 900 days to like really truly connect to levels where I felt happy and content in my own beliefs. And I feel like that number of minutes and hours and days is different and unique for all of us. And that some may be very fast, some may be very slow. And there's no right or wrong. It's just each of us have like our own unique journeys. And when you connect with that journey and you start on that journey, then this is where you make the progress. And to really encourage you to hold space for that journey, to know that it's a journey that every single day, like in some respects, although I documented so much over those first 900 days, I feel like I would have loved to have journaled more, to ask those questions. Like the kind of the awakening version of me was, so full of, I'd like to this day, full of intrigue, but many of the concepts now for me are like foundational building blocks, like the concept of source energy, or source love, or source consciousness, or unity consciousness, like all these things. Back then, they were like questions to me, and I didn't really know where I stood with each of them. And it was a journey of self-discovery. And I feel like it's really helpful to go on that journey of self-discovery. And since it takes a lot of investment, to figure out how you want to build it into your daily life and your routine, is it walks in nature? Is it going to the gym? Is it your meditation practice? Is it combinations of different things, that connecting with your art, your dancing, your singing, your poems, your talking, your writing? Like what are the things that help you connect with the very thing that you seek to connect with? And of course, don't just see it outside of you, see it within you too. The more that you can tangibly, physically see it and feel it inside of you, the easier these things are, right? We're humans and we like to feel things and touch things and, bring them into this physical reality. And so the more you can do that, the more it helps. And for those of you that are a little bit further on your journey, and perhaps you're where I am on my journey or beyond, yeah, talking about it, answering questions about it, discussing your knowings, your experiences, your beliefs with others can be a great way of really helping kind of concrete the things that you know are true for you, and then like your truths, and then the things that you're not yet entirely sure about, allowing those to become questions for you to then go and seek the answers for. And finally, I want you to know, and you watching this, like if you made it this far in this video, there's a good reason you're here. You're seeking this deepening of connection to source. And I want to tell you that you're absolutely worthy, that everyone is welcome to connect with the source of love of this universe. There's no one excluded, no thing of any vibration, no matter how negative or how positive you are, and everything in between. Everyone is welcome. And so if you want to connect, set the intention and then start the practice. And that's it. Just know that you're worthy and that it's possible. And then sometimes some of us, I don't really know if I've had this feeling myself. But another question I've had is sometimes if people feel, jealous of others, they might say, oh, look at that person there. They've got they seem to have this incredible connection with source, and it's just like this, they're connected to this infinite abundance, and they can talk to source, and they can channel source, and this seems like this very cohesive relationship. How do I get that? I feel like jealousy full stop is just a really hard journey, right? And I would encourage you to stay away from those emotions. They kind of get you nowhere. But when you feel these quite negative emotions like jealousy, there's a lesson in there, right? There's a lesson, what is the bigger lesson that's trying to talk to you? And so in my knowing, in my knowledge, I know that everyone has the opportunity to connect equally. And you can spend your entire life deepening your connection with source, and as an individual, I'm sure you'll just continue to excel. Like that deepening will continue. But for all the other things, all the kind of magical things, and yielding the infinite power of source in whatever intention that you set, whatever task that you're doing, whether it's creating music or whether it's, I don't know, speaking to others or channeling messages, whatever it is you want to do, just know that whatever you see in others in this universe of unity, they are reflections of you. And what the universe is showing to you is a capability you can choose to develop yourself in every, and this is true for everything, right? It's true for, people that perform in the Olympics, that bodybuild, that that achieve incredible things in business, who have incredible families, or gurus, or whatever, whoever you choose to be inspired by, are all ways of the universe saying to you individually, saying, look, you could do this. And of course you won't do it exactly like them, right? You would, become the bodybuilder in your own unique way, with your specific physical and mental gifts and abilities. And so, yeah, these are all ways of us being able to reflect back to each other and inspire each other. And again, just knowing that in particular with source, if you're feeling disconnected, you feel like that seems so difficult and so hard to achieve, to really go back to the start. I have these for free on my website. If I was just thinking, where's a good place to start? Start with mindfulness meditations. They're great at getting you connected with your body, just allowing your mind to flow more freely, calming and relaxing you. And then perhaps I have a 7-day mindfulness meditation challenge. So that's for free. You can just go on my website, johnbinnie.com, and go through that. So that's open to everyone. You can just start like meditating from scratch in there. And then after that, there's a 14-day, also free of charge, 14-day spirit guide meditation challenge. And that will take you like the very first meditation. So you'll be like on day 8 days into your meditations, connecting with Source and also Mother Earth, Mother Gaia. So that could be another great way of you just getting started or restarted. And I also just want to hold space for that feeling of, being orphaned from anything, being isolated or segregated or disconnected. And I remember at times in my life, like when I felt like my parents divorced when I was in my mid-teens. And I remember, there was times, like especially when it went away to university when I was 17, that I didn't really feel like super parented. I felt like my parents had other things on their minds, and that I was just kind of left to my own devices. But of course, I was also fiercely independent, right? So I'm sure from their perspective, it's like, well, he seems to have it all planned out, so just go for it. And so I just remember those feelings of like, this is it. Like I'm on my own now. It's like, it's just me. And it can feel a bit like those experiences of when I visited the infinite void. The infinite void is a dimension with nothing in it except for you, right? By its own definition, it's like it's like a kind of place of self-torment and isolation where only you can exist. But imagine it's still as big as or at least as big as our universe, but nothing is in it. Nothing at all. Just you. And you feel like there's just nothing to live for. There's no ability to live or die or to experience. It's just you and your thoughts, and you're just all alone. And so it's like, it makes you feel like you're lost, that there's, you feel very isolated, you feel very lonely, and you kind of question that shamefulness, like, why did I end up in this situation? How did I let myself, or you do know why it happened and you put yourself there intentionally. The good news is you can always still reconnect. The void itself as a dimension, and then also the feeling, and just like the feeling of being orphaned or isolated, like they are just feelings, and that you can overcome them. But it's true that your reality has to change. Like you have to do that inner work first to want to see like the stars in a infinitely dark black sky. You want to start to be able to see those lights, that they're reflections of the light inside of you. And then as you start to reconnect with that light inside of you, you see more outside of you. You see the stars in the sky outside of you, and you'll find your way out. You'll find your way out of that feeling of isolation, because it's your self-love and your self-worth that bring you to this reality, to this dimension, to this physical 3D world, and allow you to operate and navigate in this, physical and energetic, chaotic jungle of planet Earth at this time. So yeah, I hope some of those reflections and experiences help answer that first question about deepening your connection to Source. And yeah, if you have any questions along the lines of Source, what is it? How did I meet it? Can I channel it? Do you want me to do some channeling from Source? These are all things I'm more than happy to do and to answer. So there's a couple more questions to answer. The next one was, do I know do I know much about when we talk about Jesus and Mary Magdalene and Divine Feminine and Sophia and dragons? And I was like, well, these are quite a lot of different subjects and perhaps connections between them. So I'm just going to give you like an honest and transparent answer to each of these. So I just shared a video on YouTube just now about my experiences with Jesus as like a a very like incredible human and soul, and also spiritual being. And so, yeah, you can watch that video and find out all about my beliefs and my experiences. And then second, the kind of divine feminine of Jesus, or if perhaps I better answer like the divine masculine and feminine in all of us, in every being, I feel is really beautiful, right? It's like, first of all, acknowledging that a man, like I identify as male, that I also have a very strong divine feminine within me. And I feel like that it's important that I continue to nurture that feminine side of me, because actually it's the place I need to grow in the most. I've spent a lot of my 26 years in my software development career in the divine masculine state, always pushing, always creating, always kind of battling and fighting to win at something, my career, or to win at my, job title, or whatever it is that I was trying to push for. And then what I've been growing, and where I've had even bigger successes and transformations in my life, is by growing my divine feminine, and in particular the ability to receive this infinite abundance of love of this universe, and then hold that energy and receive that energy, whether it's energy, money, abundance, receiving love, like all these things, I guess, are all energy in some form, but be able to receive them, and then also to birth, to rebirth myself, and also to birth new things. And those divine feminine aspects of me, as they continue to grow in more confidence, I feel much more balanced. And my days, also, if I look at my calendar and like the sorts of things that I book myself in to do each day, they're becoming increasingly balanced, right? So I very much like get up in the morning, and I like to kind of a blend of like push mentality, like the divine masculine. I go for a run, I go for I do gym, I do some meditation. So meditation for me is a bit more divine feminine, where I'm a blend of like asking for stuff, and then I'm receiving these messages for my lyrics and my meditations for the day. And then I kind of go into until about midday, and then I kind of go into like this kind of receiving mode, much more divine feminine. I'm like, I'll tend to rest more, and I'll tend to look back at the morning, almost like the morning was a day in itself, and like, was I pushing too much? Should I I usually have a dog walk in the morning, and it's a great time for me to receive. It's that kind of receiving of abundance of nature, and the beautiful walk and the experience in my life is also incredibly important for me. So I feel like divine masculine and feminine in every being is incredibly important to achieve the right balance that you seek. And of course, divine feminine isn't all about just receiving. That's just one aspect for me. But for me, it's like a biggest lesson, because I'm so used to like pushing that I also need to balance it more with the receiving. And if anything, I need to push less in a day and receive more in a day, if that makes sense. Like as a balance, as a ratio between the two. And one practice I'm going to do is like actually book that in my calendar, afternoon nap, receiving in the afternoon, receiving inspiration, receiving new bookings from clients, like just have that gap in my calendar. And I was telling this to a client last night, and it's like, yeah, these are practical things you can do. I was also asked in that question about, So Sophia, I just don't know. I have heard friends on YouTube talking about Sophia, and I'd have to research it, to be honest, or do some channeling. I was planning to do some channeling about it in this video, but it's gone on much longer than I expected, so I'll skip it for today. But happy to do some research and come back and channel it if it would help. about dragons, it's really funny because I've never really thought of the concepts of like dragon, Sophia, and Jesus like all in the same kind of sentence. What I can say about dragons is, and you can decide whether this story, this journey, this origins story resonates with you. But I've seen many times in my meditations and client sessions that when the universe was first created by Source, there was angels, and they're still around today. And angels, they're still beings like us, but they have very specific jobs, and they have very specific superpowers for those jobs. And they kick around the universe, for like pretty much an infinite amount of time. Like they're kind of a blend of, immortal souls, just like all of us. And also they have some physical aspects where they can influence this physical reality. And they were born. And there's this challenge with the angels is that they only go so low in vibration. And I'm trying to get like a feeling for it. It's like, it's certainly the upper half. So if you split the whole frequency spectrum of lowest vibration to highest vibration, and I haven't met angels. I've never met like a low vibration angel. I've met dark angels, if you like, and that's different. But when I think of like a light angel, yeah, I've maybe by its own definition, it can't be, lower than the midpoint. But the interesting thing is that in the origins of dragons, I was shown that dragons were created to balance the energy of angels. And it's really funny because it's not that dragons are dark exclusively, but more that they have like a broader frequency range than angels. And so you can have dragons that reach up to as high or almost as high as like the highest vibrational angel, but dragons can also go much, much lower, much deeper, and they can go very dark, very, very low vibration. And that is really interesting, right? Neither are better than the other. Angels aren't better than dragons. Dragons aren't better than angels. They're just different, right? Like we're all different. And seeing these, the creation of these dragons, and it was almost like to begin with, there were big wars between angels and dragons, and that was like this rebalancing. It's like you can't have too much light. Too much light almost by its definition becomes like its own darkness, like its own kind of bright darkness. And then like bringing in more balanced, broader frequencies allows that balancing of darkness and light. And the universe is constantly trying to rebalance. And so when there's imbalance, new things are innovated and created by Source, new beings, new abilities, new souls are created, and existing souls are invited in with specific superpowers, like you and I, to come to Earth at this time, for instance, and help with the balancing of darkness and light. So that for me was really fascinating. And I also see when I've spent a lot of time with dragons and dragon energy, and when they first appeared to me, I'm not sure of the exact year, something like, I'm thinking like 2019 maybe, and they appeared to me in dreams and in the skies. I saw just loads and loads of clouds looking like dragons to me. They started to appear in my songs and in my my meditations, in my dragon light language, and now it's the dragon part of me is just a regular part of me, including like the fire that I wear on my hoodies, and there's this fierceness of a dragon, the roar of a dragon, very kind of that the male aspect, the divine masculine aspects of dragons are very like warlike and aggressive, and yet they are fiercely protective. And the feminine side I always see the dragon like holding, clutching its heart, or its babies, like, or its eggs, like its little golden egg. And it's really beautiful because it, you know, it can be physical, a physical representation, but also like very metaphorical for like that thing that you love, that you really want to protect, and being fiercely protective, you know, and going to any length to protect that. And that is beautiful and admirable in its own right. And equally, you know, you can end up in a lot of hot water and karma as a result of the actions that you might take in protection of like your golden egg. And so, you know, I felt, for example, in sometimes in my life, I felt like, well, what if I lost like my 2,300 odd songs? I don't know them all in my memory. So if I lost the hard disks, or like I lost them on social media, etc., what would I do? And it's like a whole, just feeling that in my heart, it's like, it'd be really painful, and I'd probably cry for days. But it would be for a reason, and I would know that it would be time to like let that dragon egg just go. And you know, some things aren't worth, you know, no matter how much you love it, aren't worth sacrificing yourself, or your own sanity, your own self-love. So yeah, that's some reflections on the dragon energy. And for me also, the dragon energy in me, I had a kind of bridge, which was the lion energy, the lyran energy. One of my guides is very much a lyran, and he taught me a lot about this kind of very like soft, gentle roar, very powerful and very protective, especially of divine feminines and the feminine aspects of myself. And then that developed onto, it was a lovely introduction into into dragons, because it didn't feel so jarring. I could connect with the love within dragons as much as I can within lions. So that was really beautiful. So I've covered that: Jesus, Sophia, dragons, and yeah, Mary Magdalene, or Magdalene energy. There's how to describe it? Unfinished business. There's like some galactic detective work I still am being called to do on my journey, because I have some connections, and it includes the if you've ever watched the Da Vinci Code, and that movie was filmed, towards some of the end scenes are filmed in the very beautiful, very famous Rosslyn Chapel in Roslyn Glen here in Scotland, and it's about 30 miles away from where we live. It's also a place where, very sadly, in 2003, our first daughter, Katie, died very sadly during birth. And so we buried her there. And both my wife and I just felt it was a really blessed, beautiful place. You know, 2003 was a very long time ago. And it was many years before I went through any kind of spiritual awakenings, and yet it felt very magical to us. And those connections with both that place, the connections with the supposed lineage of Jesus, the Holy Grail, and also Mary Magdalene, feels like there's more for me to learn with about those connections, and about my past lives, and just more about the subject in general. And I feel like there's a huge amount for me to reconnect with, you know, such important figures in our past and in our present, that so beautifully holds the divine feminine in particular. And also just understanding a bit more about my my kind of DNA, human lineage, and my my soul lineage. So that's been a very long video, but it was just really beautiful to answer your questions. I really enjoy doing it, and thank you so much for asking. I'm going to get on with my day. If you're interested to learn more, you'd like me to do a session with you, feel free to visit my website at johnbinnie.com. Also, my links in my bios. And yeah, check out the free meditations, like get started working with me for free. My podcasts, my long content like this is typically on YouTube as well. So yeah, feel free to check that out. Anyway, I hope this finds you well, and I'm sending you so much love from Scotland. Take care. Love you.